Hello and thanks for joining us. This is Expose on One TV Network. I'm Flora Duke. 2023 election in Nigeria draw closer than expected. Permutation take top gear. Looking at the three major contending candidates, Dr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, Ahmed Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Party, and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. And the revolution for a leader with integrity and pedigree brings youth attention has been caught by Labour Party candidate Dr. Peter Gregory Obi. The social media is completely awash with mobilization for full support of Peter Obi to emerge as the next president of Nigeria. Although campaign has not officially started, but youth in diaspora, economists, students, and business moguls had already begun mass movement for Peter Obi with the Obedient Movement slogan. This is the first in Nigerian history for youth to massively begin mobilization for a candidate without a penny from the political candidate. The big question we ask on Expose today is Peter Obi a saint? We'll go on a very short break. When we return, we'll continue. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Our big question of focus today is Mr. Obi a saint? 2023 election take top gear. Permutations on high, youth are campaigning, clamoring, and of course there are permutation for the main contending party. Dr. Peter Obi of Labour Party, Ahmed Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress, and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. And it's interesting to know that these contending political parties and candidates have just taken their deputy. As the revolution moves on youths, attention has been drawn and captured by the Labour Party for Dr. Peter Gregory Obi. The social media is completely awash with mobilization for full support of Peter Obi to emerge as the next president of Nigeria. Although a campaign has not officially started, the youth, economists, students, and business mogul had already begun mass movement for Peter Obi with the Obedient Movement slogan. And this is the first time in the history of Nigeria for youth to massively began support without a dime from a political candidate. And we are asking the question, is the man called Peter Gregory Obi a saint? Is he equipped with the requisite knowledge? Is he equipped with the right pedigree to rejig this nation? A quick research into his life and past antecedents. Peter Obi was born on the 19th of July 1961. He is currently 61 years old but is expected to be 62 by July 2022. According to astrology, zodiac sign, they are always born with talents. In other words, those born in July often come with talents. Some of the positive traits of these people include dreamy, idealistic, missionary with a higher course. They also believe in goodness in others and they carry talents that are being shared with the world. Peter Obi attended Christ the King College, Onitsha, where he obtained his West African Secondary School certificate. He later gained admission into University of Nigeria, Nsukka in 1980 and bagged a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy in 1984. Peter Obi attended Lagos Business School, Nigeria, where he did his Chief Executive Program. He also attended Harvard Business School, Boston, US, where he did 2 programs, mid-to-mid marketing. He is a strategist, a guru in economics with expertise garnered from London School of Economics, Financial Management, Business Policy, Columbia Business School, New York, and the US Marketing Management Institute for Management Development. In Switzerland, where he also got 2 certificates in Senior Executive Program and Breakthrough Program for CSOs. Kellogg Graduate School of Management US, Advanced Executive Program, Kellogg School of Management USA, Global Advanced Management Program. And in Oxford University, he said to have attended Business School, Advanced Management and Leadership Program, Cambridge University, and again, George Business School, Advanced Leadership Program. As someone born in a city where trading is a major occupation of citizens whose biological parents were also traders, Peter Obi also told the trading line. Although he later ventured into a corporate world, which later spurred him to serve in numerous positions for different companies. Going by these antecedents on managerial skills, do Nigeria need these as a pedigree or as a character trait or personality the next person that occupies the brick house come 2023 should possess? Moving on, Peter Obi full potential ventures into businesses. He was one-time former chairman Fidelity Bank PLC, former chairman Guardian Express Mortgage Bank Limited, former chairman Future Views Security Limited, and former chairman Paymaster Nigeria Limited, former chairman Nigeria International Limited, and former director Guardian Express Bank PSC, and former director Chams Nigerian PLC, former director Emerging Capital Limited, former director Card Center PSC. To attain these various executive seats also created room to be part of Alignment Professional Association. Before I talk about his membership with these associations, we may also want to ask for someone who has headed a business group, banks of the industry, with the same personality, be good enough to manage the economy of the nation. For someone who has occupied managerial position, chief executive position, to be able to manage people's money, will they be able to manage the wealth of this nation? And again, looking at the whole idea of Nigeria being a mono-economic nation, will he be able to diversify and expand the Nigerian economy? And again, does he even need the skills from other associations to be able to do that? Let's quickly run through affiliated association he belongs to and he's occupied as well in the past and of course in the present. Peter Obi was a member of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a member Nigerian Chartered Institute of Bankers, member British Institute of Directors. You may be eager to know of his political parties. Former Governor Peter Obi, like he's always called, or Dr. Peter Obi, career came into limelight when he contested for the governorship of Anambra State as the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA political party in 2003. His opponent, the current Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, of the People's Democratic Party, contested keenly with him, and he was declared the winner then by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Peter Obi, knowing who he was or who he is and his pedigree, and he going in for what he wanted, challenged Ngige's victory in court and was declared the actual winner by the Court of Appeal in 2006, 15th March. He reassumed office on 17th March 2006. On 2nd November 2006, after 7 months in the office, he was impeached by the State House of Assembly and was replaced by his deputy, Virginia Etiba, whilst others may feel he will cowardly bow out. Peter Obi returned to court and challenged the impeachment and was reinstated on the 9th of February 2007 by the Court of Appeal sitting in Enugu. Etiba handed over power back to him after the court ruling. And on May 29, 2007, Obi vacated the governor's office after Andy Uba won the general election. Meanwhile, he fought the election of Uba in court, claiming his 4-year tenure he had won in 2003 only started counting when he assumed office in 2006. And he should be allowed to complete his tenure 4 more years. In other words, another tenure. The Supreme Court of Nigeria on the 14th of June sided with him and ordered Uba to vacate office for Obi. He served his first term governor until March 2010. He vyed for second term as a governor in a keen contest with the former governor of the Central Bank, Professor Charles Soludo. Peter Obi was declared winner of the 2010 Anambra governorship election on the 7th of February 2010 after defeating Professor Charles Soludo. He served his second term as a governor of Anambra State until 17th March 2014, after which he handed over power to former governor, who is now a former governor, Willie Obiano. Peter Obi officially dumped APGA on October 7, 2014 to join the People's Democratic Party after winning the 2015 presidential election. Goodluck Jonathan appointed Peter Obi as the chairman of the Nigerian Security and Exchange Commission. Peter Obi was named the presidential running mate of Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party in 2018, October 12th precisely. The All Progressive Congress APC candidate Muhammadu Buhari won the election. Peter Obi on March 24th, 2022 declared his intention to contest the 2023 presidency on the platform of People's Democratic Party (PDP). On May 25th, Peter Obi announced his resignation from the PDP and also withdrew from contesting the party's presidential primary election. 2 days later, going by the political quagmire, waiving the selection processes, Peter Obi jettisoned the PDP primary and joined the Labour Party. Fast forward to the person we're talking about today. On the 30th of May, he emerged as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party after other candidates like Pat Utomi stepped down for him. The question still remains, is Peter Obi a saint? And why should the Labour Party presidential candidate step down for Peter Obi? It will interest you to know that he was the only sitting governor that served simultaneously as an appointed office holder during his time as the governor of Anambra State and as a member of the Federal Government Committee on Minimum Wage. He was a member Federal Government Committee on Negotiation with Labour and Subsidy, Federal Government Committee on Mass Transit. He was a member Federal Government Committee on Natural Resources and National Economic Council Committee on Power Sector Reform, National Economic Council Committee on Sharing of NDG's Funds, and National Economic Council Committee on Accurate Data on Nigeria's Oil Import and Export, Agricultural Transformation Implementation Council Subcommittee on Needs Analysis of Public University in Nigeria, National Economic Council Review Committee on Power Sector. You may ponder how. How can a sitting governor occupy both an elective position simultaneously an appointive position? For is the only person in Nigerian history that has attained such heights. Then the question for this program and this series is the man Peter Obi Gregory Sense have attained such pedigree and to have covered such milestone. The Holy Book has it that a man with diligence, or a man who is diligent in his ways, shall come before kings. Can this be said, or can we say this is the fortune of the man Peter Obi? Now, during the Pandora Paper saga, Peter Obi in an international TV program said, quote, "I was the sole engineer of South African breweries. I was also bringing Ovaltine, the company I was with before I left it for my brother, who took over and paid me off. That company became the next cash and carry, which you see in Port Harcourt and Abuja. I was sitting on the board of Tory Banks and was the chairman of one before I became the governor." He said this to buttress his source of his wealth. He was the first gubernatorial candidate in Nigeria to legally challenge to a logical conclusion his governorship electoral victory that was denied him. He won in court and reclaimed his mandate. He was the first governor in Nigeria to legally challenge his wrongfully impeachment and was restated by the courts. He was the first governor in Nigeria to seek the interpretation of tenure by governors when INEC allowed election to take place in Anambra State when his tenure had not expired. The election already concluded. It was conducted, concluded, winner was announced. It was cancelled because he challenged the election and the Court of Competent Tribunal, and his tenure was reinstated. He was the first governor to serve a second term in both the new and old Anambra state. Almost 40 years after creation of the state, he was the first governor, while still in office, to be appointed a special advisor to the president. He was the first serving governor to be appointed into a presidential economic management team. He was among the first governors to be honored with a national award in 2011 while still in office. Though the only governor whose political party was in government in only one state, he was elected vice chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum. Can you imagine that? Governor to be elected in we have 36 states in Nigeria. The only governor to be elected as the only governor in one state, but yet he assumed the position of AFGON, governor of Nigeria. And he assumed that position twice. Though the only PDP governor in the Southeast made up of 5 states, he was elected by other 4 PDP governors as the chairman for 8 years rather than the usual 1 year. You may be wondering the possibility of the aforementioned achievement in a nation like Nigeria, where corruption stands as a meal ticket for public office holder, where nepotism is the main standard of governance, impunity like a way of life for those who hold power. Question still remains. The man Peter Obi chose to be the cornerstone among all. In a society where odds becomes the acceptable, abnormal suddenly becomes the normal. Should everyone align to the abnormal? And should the abnormal becomes the new normal? This is the standpoint of the man Peter Obi. Yes, one can choose differently, or one can have different stand. One can decide to live right. One can choose to be the light and means the daring darkness. Anybody can choose to be that one man who wants to be right when the wrong is what is assumed in the today's society. Anyone can be that man who wants to stand as the light where darkness are taking over. Anyone can be that man who wants to right the wrong in the society and continue to express and demonstrate such character in all alacrity, not minding whose horse is gone. One can choose to be different, even when surrounded with bad earths. Could this be the lifestyle and principle of the man Peter Obi? In his time as governor, Anambra became the first state to commence sub-sovereign wealth savings, the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. At the time, many other governors were leaving huge debts. In his words, quotes, "I left the equivalent of $500 million in investment as well as local and foreign currency, including $150 million in dominated bonds." For the first time in the history of Anambra State, ambassadors and high commissioners of notable countries such as the United States, Great Britain, Russian, European Union, South Africa, Belgium, Israel, the Netherlands, Canada, among others, visited the states. Before his tenure, Anambra was practically a pariah that blacklisted by the diplomatic corps and international development partner. Development partners such as UNDP, UNICEF, and World Bank, the European Union, and more were hitherto not in Anambra. But during this time, they started working in Anambra, started working with the state, and Anambra was consistently adjudged one of the best states in development, but in partnership and a commitment to reform for good governance. He was recognized as the best governor by the Millennium Development Goals Office and the United Development Nation in the implementation of their programs in Nigeria. The Nigerian Debt Management Office rated Anambra as the least indebted state in Nigeria, in spite of the visible and measurable achievement recorded in various sectors. The state under him did not borrow or raise bonds for various projects. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria rated Anambra State as the most financially stable state in the country when the man Peter Obi was in position. The state's groundbreaking return of schools to their regional owners voluntary agency, churches, on 1st January 2009, subsequent partnership with the agency in education saw the state moved from 24th position out of 36 states to number 1 in the National Examination Council, NECO, and West African Examination Council, WAEC, for 3 consecutive years. This made World Bank to commission a study led by the renowned Prof. Paul Collier of Oxford University on this revolutionary partnership and phenomenal achievement. The state also entered into a strategic partnership with churches in the health sector. This symbiotic relationship resulted in a tremendous boost to healthcare because of the service offered by health institutions owned by voluntary agencies, while states restored grants to agencies and made available to them more than $50 million in various types of support. In partnership with churches in the health sector, Peter Obi government funded the transformation of Ienu Hospital Gidi, Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital Hihela, St. Charles Borromeo Hospital Onitsha, Holy Rosary Hospital Waterside Onitsha, St. Joseph Hospital Adizi Unuku. In a presidential program aired on Nigeria Television Authority during the 2019 general election, Nigeria can never forget this in a hurry. The program titled The Candidate, Peter Obi opened up on the amount left in office, which was traced to the Anambra State coffers. In his first quote, "I left office in this country, leaving Anambra State with investment in cash, 75 billion naira. The day I left office, we had $56 million, 12 billion naira in Fidelity Bank, and in Diamond Bank, $15 million, 12 billion naira in Access Bank, and $15 million, then 12 billion for Anambra State." And he was asking, show me in history of this country where anybody has left 10% of that amount. We're still waiting for these records to be broken. And bring it down to 2018 during the Ukbo Festival. We can't forget a statement credited to the former president of this country, Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo. He said, among Nigerian politicians, Obi should be held out as an example. In his first quotes, Obi is a bundle of integrity. Could this be the reason the philanthropist and founder of the Labour movement, Patutomi, stepped down for him be the Labour Party presidential candidate? In his response, why he stepped down for Peter Obi, here's his response. We have looked at the bigger picture. Our country is in a desperate situation. Nigeria is on the verge of collapse. From the point of view of finance, Nigeria is purely bankrupt. States are not paying salaries. Ostensibly, we have spent over 400 billion on the so-called subsidies this year, and very few people are willing to lend Nigeria. The corruption in the system is frightening, that every part of that so-called subsidy is corruption. We don't have the political courage to do what should be done, so we are rotting in the territory. And as a country, we're economically crippled. When it comes to security, more people are killed in Nigeria every day than in anywhere in the world. So Nigeria is a rolling civil war, even though it pretends that it is not at war. In terms of moral order, Nigeria's collapse. The Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, has been on strike for months, and students are out of the university. All of the money these lecturers are asking for to fix the system is a small fraction of what one man has stolen. If you treat issues as business as usual and make party conventions where they exchange dollars, you are essentially inviting a bloody revolution. In other words, the political class is inviting a bloody revolution. They are not smart at all. They can't even see that if things are continued in the way they are, there will be mass slaughtered and the streets will be filled with blood. Seeing all of this problem, then thinking about me or my ego is madness. That's the Labour Party initial flag bearer talking. And he said, my entire life in politics has never been about me. It has always been about how to better the common good of all. I don't know about others, but I am probably the only one who has put everything into politics and probably lost so much, but I don't care about the history, because what matters is fixing this country. We did everything to bring up Progressive Congress as a present administration into power, APC. the power, but the night after the election, after the APC assumed power, they consider us dangerous because we can ask questions. That was the last day I heard from President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. No government has ever excluded me from even listening to my ideas in Nigerian history more than Buhari's government. None, he said. It shows how afraid they are of the truth. See what they have done to the country. We fought for anti-corruption government but ended up with the most corrupt government in the Nigerian history. Now, with this in the heart of Peter Otomi, could this be the reason why he stepped down for Peter Obi? And does it see Peter Obi as the saint that will salvage this country, that will save this country, that will redeem this country, that will deliver the country, Nigeria? And on his policy, we're asking, are there still saints among public office holders? Is there Peter Obi, or is Peter Obi one man that has chosen to live right among the Agbada Dollar Nigerian politician? Is Peter Obi's pedigree, principle, moral values, core values enough to begin the changes Nigeria is so in need of? Can he be? Will he be? Is he the one? Is there more that meets the eye than the person of Peter Obi? Should Nigerians begin to ask questions about who this personality is? Can he get the job done? Is it the right time for someone of his nature, his pedigree, takes the brick house? And this is Expose on One TV Network. Many thanks for watching. Hit our reaction button. Send us your comments. Hit us our like button. We want to hear from you, and like our page, share this video and let the world know. Let answers be provided for the aforementioned questions. I am Flora Duke. Bye for now.